Good morning, everybody. Sorry to bother you all, but I want to talk just for 2 minutes. Again, we're continuing into the Chovos Halachos, talking about bitachon. The last prerequisite that he's going to bring in again is that this person needs to be malei chesed, full of chesed, everything he does. And he writes, that his generosity is all-inclusive and his chesed surrounds everyone and everything. One of my favorite lines from Psukim Tehillim is that chesed surrounds him. If someone trusts in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he's surrounded by chesed. Well, what does that mean, surrounded by chesed? Well, in the eyes of a Baal Bitachon, why should a person strive to grow in his bitachon? Because it's a win-win. When you have bitachon, it's a win-win situation, right? If you have a desire in your heart, there's one of two options about bitachon. Either is that he'll get it, right? He'll get his heart's desire. I work on my bitachon. I feel in my heart that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the only one I can rely on, and he won't let me down. His chesed is forever and never changes. It's a good chance I'll get what I want. But if it doesn't happen, he's in a different situation than everyone else. Everyone else gets down and upset, but a Baal Bitachon is able to sit back, relax, and still be happy because he knows HaKadosh Baruch Hu has his back. He has his best interests in mind, and maybe my heart wanted something, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows what else is better for me, and he's going to switch it around. It's a win-win situation. Right? No matter what happens, I'm still happy. You know? And sometimes it's hard to see that and recognize it and to believe it. But there's an important factor that we have to realize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even Chesed Yisrael Vivenu, a Baal Bitachon knows that HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows what's best. You know, and he knows just a little bit more than what you do. You know, pick your favorite basketball player or your baseball player, whatever it is, right? If you can mash 62 home runs in a season, then Aaron Judge does not look like such a big, fantastic baseball player because you could do it too, right? If you could do it, then Aaron Judge kind of belittles in yourself, right? So if you could understand everything that HaKadosh Baruch Hu does as well, then what are you doing? Then there's no difference between you and him. The same way as there's no difference between you and Aaron Judge, right? There's a story about my Rebbe's, I must have said it before, but my Rebbe's wife, when she was young, walks into a store. The lady says, well, you'd like to buy a coat. She asks if there's shotness in the coat, right? Ellie, was there shotness in the coat? If there was shotness in the coat, and she said, I don't wear shotness. And the lady said, why don't you wear shotness? So she goes, I don't know, I can't tell you reason. There's no reason in the Torah. She goes, there's no reason in the Torah, that's why I'm not from. Because if there's something that I don't understand, I don't do it. So my Rebbe's wife responded as a little girl. She goes, well, if I understood everything HaKadosh Baruch Hu did, then I wouldn't serve the guy, right? I'm on the same level with him. Why should I serve him? Why should I look up to him? There are many situations in life where things sometimes seem bad, but really at the end of the day, in the whole big picture of things, they're good, right? And again, I must have said it before, there's a famous question by Tifus Arid, why do we thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu for taking us out of Mitzrayim if he's the one who put us there in the first place? And the answer is very simply, right? Sometimes HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to give you something so good, but he works in the level of mishpat, right? He's a strict person. It's by the letter of the law, right? He says, he looks at the Jewish people, he wants to give them the Torah, wants to give them all the chef in the world, but unfortunately we came from a lineage of idol worshippers, originally from Avram, and in order to clean the slate, he has to put us into Mitzrayim to kind of, clean ourselves, but at the same time, we're, going through a really difficult, bitter time. HaKadosh Baruch Hu could be like, you know what? My kids are crying. If his head's hurting, my head's hurting, right? It's like the famous Rabbi Ari Levin story, right? He goes to the doctor with his wife. He goes, our foot is hurting, right? That my wife's foot is my foot. Your pain is HaKadosh Baruch Hu's pain. And sometimes that invokes a rachamim within HaKadosh Baruch Hu to be like, you know what? My kid's crying. I'm going to give him so much more than he ever really deserved. And when you have kids, you could really start picking up on that a little bit. And I see it in my own life, right? I try to discipline my daughter. She starts getting upset, starts crying. My heart melts, and I give in. And it's not really good. I don't know the right balance to do it. That's, I guess, the life of a parent. But I get it, right? You cry, your kid cries, you want to help him. The same thing with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Sometimes bad things happen. If you have a $10,000 debt, right? You owe me $10,000. I say, you know what? I'll forgive you, but I want to slap you across the face. Would you take it? I think most people would take one slap across the face for $10,000 debt. You go through life, you think about that just a little bit. It's a slap instead of a different debt that you owe Kadosh Baruch Hu. And one last idea to put this all together, right? If you're going to go on a vacation, right? You're going to the most beautiful vacation in the world, right? A whole week, all-exclusive hotel resort. Would you rather sprain your ankle 3 weeks before and be hurting for those few weeks prior? Or would you rather get a real stomach bug, a real food poisoning on the trip? Of course you'd rather sprain my ankle 3 weeks before and then it hurts for 2 weeks than go through my vacation with a stomach bug, with food poisoning. Same thing in our world, right? Here is the pre-vacation, Amir Tashem, that's vacation. Do you want a little bit of a sprained ankle in this world, or do you want to have, a stomach ache in the next world? If you look at life through this lens of a Baal B'tachon, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows everything that needs to fit in the right spot, you can really go through life and throw out a lot of the worries going on in your life. Toda Rabah.